it's time to walk across the quad. Head on into Salem University, jump on into your favorite seat in the lecture hall, because it's time for Days for Dummies. Hey everybody, it's me, Matt.
Everybody is Cat.
Hi.
It's my fault we're so late today because my computer got turned off. And then when I got the computer booted back up and on, I realized I didn't have an internet connection.
Did you have to call Daddy
My
T?
husband was actually taking a bath and he had to get out of, this is all real. I didn't even tell you all this, Matt. He had to get out of the bathtub. He likes to do a Sunday morning little soakaroo,
Why not?
So
Muscles ache.
a little soakaroo. So he had to get out of the bathtub and come over here with a towel. And he's like, "Okay, I'm holding up my towel. And can you do this wire? Is the camera on? Because I don't want a full Monty and all that." So that got averted.
No,
And here I
sir.
am.
The camera is not on. You could have done this thing with your tallywhacker out, Father. It would have been okay. It's not just us. Amaya's here, Michelle, Jeannie, and Laura. Hello, hello, hello. Everybody else gave it the 15 minutes and said, teacher ain't coming.
We were trying to be on time because we have a very busy schedule
What a
today.
big, busy morning. So it's a little bit different than our normal setup, and that's for a very good reason. Because today, right here live on this channel at 12 noon Pacific time, we're going to be joined by Brian DiTillo, who plays Lucas Horton on Days of Our Lives, and he was on this week.
He sure was on this week.
He was on this week. He was there. He was hanging out for Doug's funeral, hanging out with, I guess, his sister, Ciara. Or something. I don't know. I wrote some stuff down. I'm confused as to who belongs to who.
Ciara and Sean
are brother and sister. Lucas and Jennifer, I think, are related.
Yes.
That's what it is.
They're brother and sister.
I believe so as well. And Jennifer is married to Jack. They're the parents of of Abigail.
Abigail and JJ.
It's really difficult, Ma, for to keep track the family lines of people who aren't on the show.
It is, especially this week, especially with Doug's funeral and all these returning storylines, returning characters. Here it is. I've been watching Days of Our Lives now a year and a half. I'm starting to feel like, hey, I got my feet in my boots.
Yeah, look at me. I kind of get what Days is.
I kind of understand this now. Not this week. I felt like I was in the first day of class again.
If it wasn't for me watching olden days, I would be just as lost as you are. But there's a couple of things. Now, it only helped me with Liz Chandler, who was the one that showed up early on in the week to visit Marlena. And then at the funeral, she sang that song. So,
yes,
of my olden days watching, she's the only character that I've seen. Except for Hope.
Well,
Hope
her and Aunt Marie don't like each other one bit. I guess they were fussing over a boy once upon a time.
So I guess they were fighting over Neil Curtis, who Liz is married to in 1985 in the olden days that I'm watching.
And he is Sarah's father.
Yes, he's Sarah's father. But I guess Maggie's not Sarah's mom directly or something. I don't know exactly what the setup is on that. I don't know.
Oh, so Maggie didn't give birth to Sarah?
Listen, I could be wrong about that. The chat's definitely going to help us out with that. I guess Neil, I don't know, because Mickey was the one that was infertile. They talked about him this week, or last week, or at some point they mentioned him, because Maggie was lamenting over having two lost loves in her life, and she knows what it's like, what Julie's going through.
Yes.
Mickey being that first.
For Mickey and Victor.
Yes, and I guess Mickey would be Marie's brother or uncle or something like that.
I would think brother. Right?
I guess.
Marie and Mickey, brother and sister, I think. And Marie's the only one left, right?
Yeah, I think she's the only of the Horton children that's still around. Mickey and all of Tom and Alice's children, with the exception of Marie. Now, is Marie the one that was going to get married to that dude and was super in love with him in the pilot? Do you remember?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Because there was that one story that they were playing in the first episode of Days of Our Lives, where one of the Horton kids had a boyfriend. They were fianced. They were going to get married, and it was very exciting. They were very excited to be married. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember us talking about it and then discussing it after the fact, going, those crazy kids are doomed. Whatever's going on is going to get in the middle of it.
I think Marie is the only one left, and I think she was the baby as well.
It's what Maya's kind of backing that up. She says that Marie is the youngest Alice and Tom's child of her
Children,
children.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they had somewhere between 3 and 5 kids.
Something like that. I think there was at
Something like that.
least 4.
Uh-huh.
At least 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was Marie in the pilot. I think she had black hair back then. Is it the same actress, Amaya? Because that would be fascinating.
I think it was. I think it was, Matt, because all the old photos they showed. There's a very, very, very young Marie in the photos, and it's the same woman. It's the same actress.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Marie was a nun, like my mom, says Michelle. So Michelle's mom was. Wait a minute, Michelle, your mom was a nun?
Oh.
I need an explanation as to how your mother was a nun. Did she become a nun after having you, or was she already a nun?
Can you even be a nun if you've already had a child?
I think you could be a nun if you've already had a child. I mean, it's 2024 or 1970 or whenever this was.
Huh.
I mean, it's not like 1883, right? Where they're checking everything out and being like, no, you must give yourself to God. Now it's all about the heart, right? Hey, Jacarius is here. And Amaya confirms,
Jacarius, where have you been?
Jacarius flutters in and out. He's a super busy guy. He's turning 25 very soon, and his life is full.
Well, that's good.
That's
I'm happy to hear that.
However, Jacarius, I am waiting.
More likely.
I am waiting on the well-famed Matt and Cat painting. One where I'm dressed up like John Black and she's dressed up like Babe Carey, Crystal Carey even.
Crystal Carey.
She didn't become a nun because she thought she was marrying her brother. See, Lars, look at that. There's so many storylines that. Remember, you weren't part of this conversation, but Professor Angela has mentioned it several times where we're talking about this podcast, and I said, well, what are we going to do in a year when we're not dumb anymore? And she laughed at me. Because look at us sitting here being dummies. Just being dummies. So back to the top of the list. Liz Chandler shows up. She's the only person that I have a connection to because she's Blondie. She owns Blondie's. It's at the Salem Inn or something like that. Mm-hmm. She's a lounge singer. She's a hostess. She even recently did a music video with Samantha Wilder. And this is 1985, so music videos are huge.
Yeah, they're a big deal back then. Oh.
Big deal. Oh my God, it's like a huge plot point and point of discussion. The fact that Liz Chandler has done this music video. Now her style. Obviously, you've now heard her sing at Doug's funeral. Her style is not like Whitesnake.
No.
All of those famous music videos from the 80s where people were dancing on cars and Pour Some Sugar on Me and all of that sort of stuff that people were really into. So I'm sure it was much more soft. It was probably a throwback, probably framed like some sort of like 70s thing, like a William Shatner double exposed frame thing where it's him on and then also his profile. You know what I mean? Rocket.
Well, you know that one music video where it's all sketchy and it's all. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, and Pat Benatar had the Battlefield and all that. Oh man, those are good. Those were good.
Oh my gosh! Oh, what a blast from the past! What a fun song. But I also had another slap in the face of some olden days because that song that Liz sang was the song that she sang when I was talking about Shane and Kimberly having a blind dance.
Well, that song, I guess, is a staple for Days of Our Lives.
I'll be loving you
that's
always.
The song that Susan had all of us sing with her.
Mm-hmm. That's
at Day of Days.
I'll be loving you always.
Yes, along with what was that girl's name?
Oh gosh, I can't remember at this very moment in time. Ms. Shaughnessy.
Was her name Liz?
Liz. I'm gonna look it up on Instagram right now because I got to reach out to her.
How do you say her last name?
Shaughnessy.
Shaughnessy. Yes,
Shaughnessy.
That's who sang it with her, and we had a conversation with her at the club that night.
I'm actually gonna work on talking to her next about coming on the show and talking about just the Shaughnessy family and days of our lives.
I
Amy.
love it.
Amy Shaughnessy.
Amy. Why do I want to call her Liz? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's all
Sometimes I
right,
just
though.
name people in my brain. I don't know. It's weird.
Let me give you a quick little update, though, as to what Amy Shaughnessy is up to, though. She's got a YouTube, Instagram. She's an actress. She's all over IMDb. She's been in short films. She's been in plays. She's a little Shaughnessy actress and performer herself, is what she is. She's up
Aw,
there
fun.
singing. And they invited her up there with her, and it was Julie and Marlena, also played by,
Yes.
Deidre Hall and Susan Seaforth Hayes,
Yes.
and Amy Shaughnessy. Invited up
Mm-hmm.
there to kind of lead the song along with Susan Seaforth. And I can only assume it's because they have a friendship and relationship with Amy Shaughnessy.
I would think so. I would think so because Shaughnessy's have been involved in soap operas for a long time,
Hmm.
along with a lot of other things as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was very endearing.
Hmm.
And seeing Susan and Marlena and Amy sing that song at Day of Days and then see it
Hmm.
on the show at the funeral, it just made it way more endearing.
It did. It did. It did. And on top of that, too, the eulogy that Julie gave to Doug was this
Hmm.
perfect blend of Susan Seaforth Hayes and Julie Williams,
It
kind of
was.
eulogizing both the man and the character at the same time.
Yes.
And
At the same
that's beautiful. I
time.
can only imagine that she either wrote that entire thing herself or heavily consulted with the writers who did put the words on paper.
Yeah, it might have even been somewhat similar to what she said it at Bill's actual funeral.
It might be. I have
Might
no
be.
clue. I don't know. I don't know what they
Uh-huh.
might have woven in that was like a character trait. Like the grifter, the con man that turned his heart into gold. Like I mean, Bill Hayes might not have been a con man and a grifter. I don't know. I've never met the man.
Probably not.
I can say that he never did anything to me.
Say that too.
So,
Um,
so I don't know. Some of it's about the character. Some of it had to have been about the man, though. Especially when
mhm.
when it came to some of the most flowery things that she had to say regarding
Yeah.
like his heart of gold and the fact that he was always there and that sort of stuff. Um,
Yep.
it was interesting. It was good. It was good and interesting, and also difficult all at the same time. Because I was
Yeah.
there, I felt bad for the characters that I knew about. I was minorly curious about the ones that I had never met. I recognized that people who know who Stephen and Marie and all of these people are had a bigger impact on them than it did for us.
And you know that Stephen must have been one heck of a loser.
Oh my God. It seems
He
as though he
must
was
have
always in
been.
trouble.
He was always in trouble, evidently. And he's still crawling in and out of the window. What?
Oh my
Oh, dude,
gosh.
you're gonna break a hip. What are you doing?
Let's see. Amaya is saying Gloria Loring Lovers and Friends was a popular song. Lovers and Friends is probably the one that she sang for Kimberly and Shane, but whatever, who cares? It's a love
Mhm,
song at this point.
mhm.
Let's see. Amaya with some spice, starting her phrase with yeah. Yeah. Liz didn't sing always. That was Doug's song. And I know that's exactly how Amaya sounds.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but if it was his song, it was his song. I think it's so fitting to sing it at his funeral.
Absolutely. Sandra says that Doug also had other songs, but they're too expensive now because music licensing has gone insane. Clearly, it was much cheaper to license a song back in the 80s than it is now.
Wasn't everything imaginable cheaper in the 80s?
I mean, without getting too far off the soap topic and into real life, it certainly seems since the Reagan administration there has been a change. Maybe this whole trickle down economics made the people who are at the top super 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 rich and everything else far more expensive. Because
Yes,
that seems to be the
maybe.
result of that endeavor.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So what do you think about this new Doug Williams?
So Doug played by Peyton Meyer. This is an actor I know, Ma. Not
Really?
very well. I've never met him, of course. I'm not that special. But I've seen him in other projects. He was on the Disney Channel in Girl Meets World, playing Corey and Topanga's daughter's boyfriend.
Oh,
And Corey and Topanga's daughter,
the newest one.
the newest one, yeah. And Corey and
The new
Topanga,
Boy
yes,
Meets World.
Corey and Topanga's daughter turned out to be a little Topanga.
Hmm.
And so she was weird.
Oh, okay.
And she was very like very liberally minded and very on the pulse of today's cult. You know how Disney Channel shows are, right? So she was very much that, just very much like so wise for her age and blah blah blah, but also flippin' weird like Topanga was. And her boy, I think he played
Weird.
Topanga was weird, and I think he played a guy named Spencer or something like that on the show. And he was basically just the handsome dumb jock in the school that everybody liked.
You know who? The shape of his face. I think more than anything, he reminds me of Brady
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
a little bit.
I could see that. Yeah, his name is
Reminds me of
Peyton
Brady a
Meyer.
little bit.
Peyton Meyer. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm thinking he's a scoundrel. Is what I'm
So I
thinking.
think he's a scoundrel. I think he really is Doug Lepage or whatever he said his name was, and he changed his name to Doug Williams. And he might not have officially changed his name to Doug Williams. He might be just saying his name is Doug Williams III. I changed it because of my grandpa.
And he
yeah.
had the necklace in his pocket.
So yeah, I was taken aback. I was taken aback, Mom, because I'm usually maybe a day behind everybody else when it comes to watching soaps, just because of how things work out in the time that I have to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm generally one day behind, so I'm seeing what people have to say on Twitter and social media before I actually watch the show. And so people had mentioned this end of the episode fake flashback. And I'm like, what the fudge are they talking about? A fake flashback? Is this something that they just reshot?
Indeed, that's what it was. It was a fake flashback.
So I go and I watch the thing, and on Monday it's just him like leaving the cell, and he's like, I'm gonna go see Salem. I'm going home, or Salem or whatever, and he takes off, right? And it's black and white, and no Doug and Mike or whatever it is.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so they just picked this dude, this new actor that they want to establish as a family member of Doug's, and they're using him to play Doug in a flashback that they don't have.
Exactly.
So they do that, right, Ma? And then this thing happens. This guy comes to town and goes, oh, I just got out of jail, this new Doug says. And the last thing that we saw this actor Peyton Meyer do with the name Doug is leave a prison cell. So that got me thinking, Ma, what if this black and white flashback wasn't a flashback of Doug, but a flashback of Doug?
We don't know for sure, right?
And
I thought it was a flashback of Doug too, but maybe it's not.
Maybe it was a flashback of Doug 3.
It was a flashback of the actual Doug that's in town now.
Yeah, Doug 3. And they were just trying to trick us or something, or make it seem, I don't know. I might be thinking too much about it.
But with the necklace in his pocket, I'm thinking he went through the window with Steven already.
Oh.
I'm just making the Steven part up.
Yeah.
But he went through the window already.
Uh-huh.
Got the necklace, left the house, and then came back to say, oh, hey there, and all that.
Maybe.
So I think he's already been in the house.
Oh, well, maybe more information will come out over the next couple of weeks.
I don't know.
Otherwise,
and I tell you what, I love Julie, but that girl is way too, she gave way too much benefit of the doubt.
Maggie did the same thing with Constantine.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Oh my God.
Allowing a scoundrel. But I don't think this Doug person's going to be any good. But I bet you it's going to be a full circle redemption story if by that time it ends.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. My father never paid any attention to me. I don't know. I guess his dad, Dougie, was a character on the show and was like artificially inseminated to be created or something. I don't know. There might have been some sort of throwaway line.
I don't know. You can always count on Days of Our Lives to have some wackadoodle story that when you're watching it, it doesn't seem so crazy. But if you talk about it, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, Sandra says the real flashback has been used fairly recently, and I think they might have actually used it in that same episode where they went and did a flashback of actual Doug. in prison talking to actual Meg. And that might have
Mhm.
actually, as far as I know, that was the introduction of Doug. Like his first scene is him leaving the jail cell to go to Salem.
Mhm.
Or maybe. Or he came to Salem and he's like, hey, I'm your brother's old cellmate. Now I'm here in town. Let's hang out.
I I even thought this. I even thought this because I thought, oh well, Days of Our Lives would do this. Why not? They're wackadoodle. I thought at first I thought, well, maybe this Doug Williams, that's actually Doug, and it's a ghost kind of thing.
Oh, wouldn't that be sweet?
It's a spirit kind of
Yeah,
thing.
oh, that would
That's
be.
what
I
I
don't think
thought
that's the
maybe.
case. It
I
doesn't
don't
seem
think
like
that's the
that's the case.
case, but it did kind of flash through my mind. Maybe that's what it is. And he's coming to see Julie one last time.
Even if he is the embodied spirit of Doug Williams reborn into a younger body for him to live a second time, that's Days of Our Lives. I don't think I would argue that. Just know I am Doug.
Exactly.
I have all of his memories. I've been
If
reincarnated,
if
Julie.
Marlena, if Marlena can be the devil, I think we can pretty much do anything on Days of Our Lives.
Yes. Dougie
Really.
was artificially inseminated because Doug wanted a sibling for Hope to grow up with. He couldn't just have a baby with Julie? Or was that too
There must have
weird?
been
Would that have been too
there
weird?
must have been a problem why he and Julie could not have a child.
Would that have been weird, folks? Would it have been weird for Julie to have her, like, sister's niece
Well,
sister?
Hope is her sister. Hope is her
Hope,
sister
yeah,
and
Hope is
stepdaughter.
right. But then if Julie gives birth to a baby that's fathered by Doug, and Doug is Hope's father, then Julie is giving birth to Hope's niece sister.
It's getting to that song, I am my own grandpa. It's circling around.
I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own grandma. Oh my gosh.
But
Okay.
so Hope is back. Oh, Hope came back.
Yes,
I think Bo is gonna soon be there
I
too.
think so too. Peter Reckle
I
is
think
already
Bo is
like
gonna
he's replying to cast members' tweets and talking about days and that sort of stuff. So I think that
Yeah.
he might have already been back on set 4 months ago for all I know.
Well, heck yeah, he could have because they're so far ahead. Shoot.
Julie and Doug weren't together at the time. And so Doug was like,
Oh,
I want to
Julie
have a
Dillon.
baby. I
Oh,
want Hope to have a sister. Come here, Hope's nanny.
okay.
This is Doug. All right. So the only Doug I've ever met was that sweet old man singing songs and being the central of the family and everybody loving him and
Right.
thinking he's great and missing big old Doug Williams hugs and that sort of. That's the only Doug I know. This whole con man, scoundrel person who came in from the wrong side of the tracks to do some sort of 1960s greaser stuff. I didn't see. I
No,
don't know
no,
that
the
Doug.
only Doug Williams we've ever seen is the most uh, you know, him and Abe could have a contest for Gentleman of the Year.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, so Sandra, help me out here. Sandra says both the actors Bill Hayes and Robert Carey and Doug and Robert Leclerc. Robert Leclerc
Oh
was a
boy,
character on Days of Our
boy.
Lives. They were close friends. So does that mean that Robert is the father of Dougie? I'm very confused. I don't know what's going on. You tell me what's happening because I don't trust anybody on Days of Our Lives to actually be the parents of their children.
No,
So
it doesn't happen. No one, and it seems like no one raises their children, and no
uh
one knows who they are until they're 25.
or they're raising somebody that they think is their kid because they've been convinced that they're somebody they're not. And then they realize they're not that man. And then have to figure it out from their John Black style. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust anything. I don't trust anybody. The only people that I am sure is the mother of anybody else is like Belle and Marlena.
I'm not
I
sure.
can't even guarantee that Marlena is Eric and Sammy's mom.
No,
What if we found out that some person back in 1984 did something? What if they swapped the babies out?
I heard some rumbling. I heard some rumbling that there might be a question of who the father is of Johnny and Sammy.
like there might be a new question because right now they have
No,
different dads.
no, it's not Sammy. It's Allie and Johnny, right?
Right, Allie and Johnny I think are the twins, and they're the ones that had different dads because their moms slept with two guys on the same night.
Well, I heard that perhaps their father they are not who they think they are.
So instead of having two different dads, they have the same dad, a mystery third man on the
It
same
might
night?
be flipped. It might be flipped.
Because they never did DNA tests or something?
It might be flipped.
Oh, so EJ's
So
not...
isn't Lucas supposed to be Allie's father?
I think so.
Right?
I think
and
so.
EJ is
EJ
Johnny's father.
So you think they're going to switch it?
I've heard that perhaps it's a whoop whoop.
Ooh, wouldn't that be something? Because, you know, EJ and Johnny, they've been having some story recently. Not necessarily story, but they've been having scenes. So maybe they are building up to something between them. Because they're not exactly getting along necessarily. They're starting to make moves for the other person that they're not telling the other one about.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Johnny was mad at his dad this week about the whole Joy thing.
Very much so.
Oh, he just ran her little butt out of town.
He did. You know what, though? If I was in that situation and if I was Joy, I would take the money and run. What the hell do I have in Salem?
The only thing that is too bad, so sad, really, is the fact that she's enjoying being on Body and Soul.
Got it.
You know, she enjoys it. She seems to be good at it. Alex is sniffing her around a little bit as well.
He's got himself a Steph, though.
Well, but no, they're not supposed to.
Who gives some crap? That show's about to be canceled.
I think Elizabeth Weber and Stephanie are cut from the same cloth.
I just can't help myself. I just love too hard. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know about nothing. I don't know about this Phil. All right. I don't know about Philip. All right. I don't know if I like him. I don't think I do.
I think Philip is a scoundrel. I think that, you know, he and Stefan aren't all that different. He's very Stefan-like, I think.
Yeah.
He shoots you on the docks in a heartbeat.
I think he would. I think he would. Now I'm in charge of Titan. Amaya says they did like 3 DNA tests on Allie and Johnny because people kept messing with the results. Which just opens up the question, Amaya, that maybe this final result was also incorrect.
I read it somewhere on social media. I can't even tell you where I was that I saw that.
Well, it's tough, but when it comes to like days leaks, like it could be absolutely true because of how far ahead they are. You know, that's a lot of time for something to leak or for somebody to say something 3 months ago and then enough time passes.
I'm actually surprised it doesn't happen more often since they are so far ahead.
Right. You know, they must be really good.
They must have to sign one of those things where you don't say nothing. What's that called?
A non-disclosure agreement?
Yes, I think so.
That, or, you know, maybe it's just part of the professional game. You know, I know someone who's involved in productions who isn't supposed to say what he's involved in until it airs.
Mm-hmm.
The closest the general public gets is a location. Like, what lot are they on? So, yeah, 3 DNA tests, though. I mean, what they must have taken them to General Hospital. That's what they did. Robert Robert was the father of little Dougie and the grandfather of Doug the Third. Okay, that's what Sandra says. We'll see if Doug the Third is actually Doug the Third, because he could be like Leaf Bobson. You know, that's something I would.
He could be the next minion that's working for Clyde.
He could be. I'm actually Clyde Weston Jr.
Exactly.
I'm here to stir the pot while my father's in prison for now. Unless Clyde's going to break out again and meet them in freaking Canada or some nonsense.
I'm tired of Kat looking all pathetic.
What do you think of her 2004 hair?
I don't like it.
Like, it really screams like really early 2000s to me.
I don't like it. I don't like her hair. I liked her hair blown out a lot better.
Yeah. It makes her seem like she's more, I don't know. I don't want to call her badass, but like less trustworthy. I don't know. It's not as trustworthy of a hairstyle. It looks like she'll get into it a little bit more. It looks like she looks like somebody that would smack you. She looks like a banger sister. Like she should be wearing leather. She should be hopping on the back of a bike. That's what I'm getting from that hairstyle.
I think Chad is going to wind up liking her.
Yeah, just in time for the real the real Abigail to return, for Chad to be like, and then all those people who want that storyline on General Hospital for Spencer and Trina get to watch Days of Our Lives and watch it with Chad, Abigail, and Kat. Huh? 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 How do you like having a namesake on the show, Ma?
Well, I like it actually. She don't know how to spell it. She's not the kind that's on four legs, okay?
Right.
She don't know how to spell it. You don't spell cat with a C if you're a person.
Right.
I don't like that. I think it's fine. I'm sure, and her real name is Katerina, like her mother.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just short, or just Cat. Maybe she's just Cat. Maybe
Oh, I
she's
think
Cat. Maybe she's Katie.
And there's lots of backstory on Kat as well, because she has a different face, evidently.
Yes, than what she grew up
Younger
with.
children didn't recognize her.
Right, her siblings were like, who are you? Oh, you're my sister? I thought you were dead like mama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're all really southern, from like the thickest of swamps. I don't believe what's happening in front of me.
Yeah. I don't know how Clyde's even part of all that, you know?
I really, truly, and honestly, 1000% believe that this story lost its footing when they lost Drake Hogestyn's availability.
I agree.
I really feel like he was supposed to be the center of this thing.
He was supposed to be really part of this story a
big
lot.
part, and then like really like the glue that kind of held both halves together. But now we're just kind of like doing what we can with who we got.
Yeah, Drake became I mean his disease really just accelerated way quicker than I think anybody might have thought.
Oh yeah, I think we went from all right, because he took a break and then came back and filmed those scenes and then needed to take another break, and I think that they thought, oh well, we'll just wait for him to finish this round of treatment again.
Right.
But the round of treatment didn't end or allow for a return or whatever it is. It's all speculation at this point. But
Absolutely.
But I do feel as though that the missing John Black element of this story is really having this particular plot line suffer. And I don't know how like interposable other characters are with John Black. I don't know if you can take Steve Johnson and stick him in that role and still have it do what it needs to be done. I don't know if you can take somebody else, Eric or Brady, or I don't know, some other throwback connection to John from way back when.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bring back Shane. Well, he's gonna be on soon because Marlene is supposed to. I don't know if it'll be next week but it's got to be coming up soon where she sits down with Shane and she's like, "Where's my husband?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if something's gone wrong."
Yep.
I don't know what you're talking about, Marlena. There is no special ISA mission.
Something.
Oh goodness.
That's coming up fairly quickly.
It is.
So I find it interesting that they're playing that they filmed John Black demise while Drake was still alive.
Yeah, I mean that's what we understand has happened. Nothing's confirmed. Something that really helped me in my entertainment career when I was doing wrestling or anything else was AJ Kirsch actually said this a lot. I don't know if you remember AJ Kirsch.
I remember him.
But yeah, he's had a little corner of success. He was on WWE's Tough Enough season, worked with The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Was very prominent in Northern California Bay Area wrestling, known as the Hood Slam commentator as Joseph Brody.
I remember this guy very well, actually.
Yeah, he's very charismatic and good looking and in great shape and a talented wrestler, and he's been in commercials. He did like an air conditioning commercial. He's not won an Emmy. He's never been nominated for an Oscar, but he's had an amount of success that he's carved out for himself. But the thing that he would say always is two things. Nothing happens until it happens. And the second thing is nothing changes until it changes. Which is just really interesting because both of them are true. Nothing happens until it happens and nothing changes until it changes. But when it comes to keeping your head on straight, when it comes to like auditioning for things or trying to carve out your role or find your path to success in whatever it is that you're going for, nothing happens until it happens
Mhm.
is incredibly valuable advice because you're told all kinds of stuff. You're promised all kinds of stuff. You say, oh, this person's going to be there. We're going to work this match with this person. We got this spot in mind. And then the
Mhm.
dude doesn't show up.
Mhm.
Well, nothing happens until it happens. So
Mhm.
the same thing with these stories, Ma. Nothing happens until it happens. I'm really not sure exactly what we're going to get when it comes to John Black on the show. But I hope it's good.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be lovely.
I mean, we got 3 beautiful days about Doug. Just beautiful days.
It-
They weren't the most heavy impacting story days or anything, but it really was 3 days of this cast and these characters standing around talking about somebody that they've known for their lives.
a great deal of it was right there in the Horton living room.
So much of it just talking, discussing, lamenting, speaking about how much they love and miss him. A lot of this leading into flashbacks. A whole love flashback for Julie and Doug while Liz was singing.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Which was gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Without having a strong emotional connection to these characters, Mom, did you find yourself a little weepy?
Yes, I was.
Hey.
I was. Not so much this week,
But last week?
but when he actually passed last week and Julie at his bedside.
Yeah.
Talking with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was like, oh, boy. I was very emotional. It made me cry. And I thought, my goodness, if I had been watching this for 4 decades.
Wow.
I'd have to have some kind of like, I don't know, IV drink. I'd have to have some fluids.
Yeah. yes. Martha and Brandon. Martha Madison and Brandon Beamer, who plays Sean and Belle on the show. Splitsville, Sean and Belle, by the way.
Yeah, they had themselves a
good heart to heart.
I tell you, if everybody could split up like that, it wouldn't be so awful, right?
Right. But then if they've had a kind of a long time to think about it and not be together and then come together and have that conversation.
Yeah, they told each other they still loved each other, but they're not basically just not in love anymore.
Yeah, like this, all of this, and the drinking and the cheating and the time apart and all of that, and it's just we really aren't better together as much as we love one another.
We're really not better together.
Yeah. So that's mature. That's good. I think that it's great and it's very easy for them because people have been asking for these characters to come back, and I think that they departed in the middle of or due to the whole Alan LR baloney.
Probably.
And so now that he's out of there and they have got new producers and new writers and blah, 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 they're bringing these characters back. And I think that it's very wise and a good move for them to split them up upon their return. Because now they're free to do anything that they want story-wise. It doesn't have to continue to be Belle and Sean stories. It could be Sean stories and Belle stories. So that's good.
I really enjoyed the scenes with Belle and Marlena together.
Yeah.
You know, they're very convincing mother and daughter.
I think you'd have a lot of practice at it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
She reminds me so much. Martha reminds me so much of Anna Faris.
Really? I know you watched a lot of Anna Faris on Mom. Yeah, before she left that show, leaving Alice and Janney all alone to hold down the fort. And then they're like, well, we can't do the show anymore without Anna Faris. Sorry.
It was a good show.
Canceled.
Gone for a long time.
Yeah, I think it was a good 7-year shows. I think it was one of those 7-year shows. And then Anna Faris did a good 6 years of it before not coming back. And then they tried, as shows do, they try. But then the magic's gone, you know? Who's she the mom of?
She was in some of those parody horror films.
Oh, yeah, she's the lead of the Scary Movie franchise.
Absolutely.
That was her big claim to fame, her big breakthrough.
That was her beginnings, huh?
Yeah, that's what caught her the attention. And then she was married to that one dude for a long time.
She was married to Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt for a long time until Chris Pratt went to church too many times. And then on, it's like, I'm out
Yeah,
of here.
and they have a child, and he hit the road and became a Kennedy.
Yeah, yeah. So they split up, and then he like showed the public who he really was, and then the public went, "Oh, okay, this makes sense." And then they cast him as Mario to do the voice of Mario in the Mario Brothers movie, but he did not do the voice like a Mario. It was just Chris Pratt, and it ruined his career.
I don't know
People
though.
hated like it was that oversaturation point where it's just a little
Mhm.
too much Chris Pratt out there, and he's not trying hard enough anymore.
He should have stuck. He should have stuck with dinosaurs
Should have stuck
and
with the
talking raccoons.
yes, exactly. Look at you with your great modern day movie references. It's like you got grandkids or something. Oh my gosh. I think once John dies, Belle and Sean will reunite, says Jeannie.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. We talked about Liz. We talked about Marie. We talked about Steven. We talked about Jack and Jennifer slightly, but they're on a little bit more often than the other characters. And
Mm-hmm.
then the beautiful Hope Brady, Mrs. Days of Our Lives. Who's more synonymous with Days other than Marlena Evans? And at that point, is it debatable that Bo and Hope are more anchored to Days of Our Lives with the general non-watching public than Marlena Evans is?
Before I started watching Days of Our Lives, and just, of course, I've heard of the show because I'm a soap opera fan, but the only folks that I would recognize before watching it, there's four.
Mm-hmm.
Marlena,
Mm-hmm.
Victor,
Mm-hmm.
and mostly I know Victor because he's Jennifer Aniston's father.
Uh-huh. And that was a
So,
big thing. Like, so Jennifer Aniston joins Friends, and then now the soap community's like, oh my God, Victor Kiriakis' daughter is on this majorly successful TV show.
right.
Right.
So I recognize Deidre Hall, I recognize John Aniston,
Uh-huh.
and I recognize Bo and Hope. Those
Okay.
four, without ever watching the show,
Yeah.
knew that's the cast of Days of Our Lives. But that's the only four.
I knew the names John, Marlena, Bo, and Hope. That's it. Those are the only 4 Days of Our Lives names I knew. You would mention something else, and I'd be like, oh, yeah. Like the Patch guy.
Mhm.
You know? I'd be like, oh, Patch. Okay. Oh, they actually call him Patch? Okay. Weird show. Right? So I would say like that's it. And then the only reason I really knew about the eye patch guy was because he was Stefan Cassadine. Or Stefan Cassadine.
Exactly.
That's the only reason why I knew about Stephen Nichols, because he was on General Hospital, and that's the show we watched.
Mhm.
But I knew
And
the
I
name John
kind
and
of knew
Marlena.
about Mary Beth Evans too because she's Catherine.
Yeah, and she fell off the parapet. And apparently
Exactly.
didn't die. Nobody's ever died off falling off the parapet.
The character of Catherine actually died.
I don't know. We'll see.
The only
You
casualty.
let us know, chat. So so those are the only names I knew. And then one day, after beginning our podcast about GH, I decided one day, let me look up a picture of this John and Marlena, right?
Mhm.
So I look up a picture of John and Marlena, and it's a picture from like the early 2000s, where they're
Okay.
like 45 years old, right? 40 years old,
Mhm.
whatever it is. Your age, right? Essentially. Hey, no, they're like 10 years older, but you know what I mean. A good 40 or 50 years old is what I'm saying. So I
Yeah.
see this picture, and they just look like soap actors. They just look so soapy. And I'm like, oh,
Oh
that's
yeah.
John and Marlena. Okay, they look like a soap couple. And then I
Yeah.
moved on with my life. But I will tell you, Bo Brady, if you were to have shown me a picture of Bo Brady in 1985 and said, what character is this? I would say, that's Bo Brady, without watching Olden Days.
Me too.
Something about Bo Brady.
I wouldn't have said Brady. I would have just said that's Bo.
That's Bo.
I wouldn't have
I
known
might
the
not
Brady.
have said Brady as well. You're right. But I would say, oh, that's Bo from soap operas.
Mm-hmm.
I would have
Mhm.
known that. So
Mhm.
I do think Bo and Hope might have, when it comes to the unwatching general public out there who are familiar with soap operas, I do think Bo and Hope might edge out Marlena when it comes to recognizability.
Oh, maybe, because yeah, I can't say that I knew one more than the other.
It's like being a fan of The Rock or being a fan of Randy Orton. You know who both of those people are.
Yep.
People who watch wrestling know who both of those people are and have a
Yep.
great respect for both of those people and love
Mm.
watching both of those people and have enjoyed watching both of those people for over 20 years on their wrestling program. But if I were to ask the chat, hey, who have you heard of? The Rock or Randy Orton? I'm sure 100% of the chat would say, I've heard of The Rock.
And might even be able to tell you his actual name too.
Right. Right. So
Exactly.
I think that's what we're looking at there when it comes to that. Anyway, all of that to say, the beautiful, the glamorous, the queen of Days of Our Lives, Hope,
Mhm.
walking into the Orton house this week. Super fun.
I thought, and I thought, of course, I've never seen her. I've never seen her. Like I said, I knew who she was, but I'd never seen her on screen. I've never seen her playing Hope.
Right.
I could tell, and with so many of the actors on the show, the sorrow, the mourning of Doug Williams, Bill Hayes,
Mm-hmm.
genuine and real. None of them needed to act.
No, no, no. And it's going to be even
It
worse.
was really very, very obvious with her name is Kristen Alfonso, right?
Kristen Alfonso, yeah.
It was very obvious with her, especially at the grave scene, where it's
Mm-hmm.
just her
Yeah.
talking to her daddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, my gosh, this is, that's to be this emotional when you've been gone from the show for this long and to be able to plug back in so hard and so
Mm-hmm.
easily. That's real, real grief that we saw.
It's real talent and real grief, and I guess it's an easy way to step back into the shoes of Hope,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like she doesn't have a frame of reference. She's not a new actress playing the character.
No.
The Hope and Doug memories that you have and you love, not you and I, because we didn't see it, but the people who were watching. Hi, everybody. Um, all of the memories that you have of Hope and Doug are of Bill and Kristen.
Right. And they did so many they did so much old footage,
So
so
much.
many old scenes.
Yeah.
The scene of her 18th birthday, so sweet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. They even rebroadcast his whole speech to her. His
Mm-hmm.
whole talk, his whole I'm all you're becoming a young woman, but I'm always going to be your dad. I'm always going to be right here. You're always going to be my little girl. Ah, Doug.
Mm-hmm. It was so good.
Ah, her pain was so raw, says Laura.
It sure was.
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
And like I said, I think that pretty much all the actors. Um, I felt the same way with the young woman that's Sierra, Hope's
Mm-hmm.
daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She seemed to plug in some real emotion real easily as well.
Gosh, I mean, it has to be super easy. It just has to be. Especially
Mhm.
like, like with Kristen, all of these actors have their frame of reference.
Sure,
You know?
sure.
It's not
And I
like
have a feeling that Bill Hayes might have been kind of like Drake. He was just a cheerleader for
he just
everybody.
loved
Made it
just
feel
loved being there
better,
and everybody
made the
loved
room
having him.
feel better.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
as long as they were present, it was better.
Do you think
What
I
are
should
you
go?
doing?
I'm trying to go. Should I go for the old the skater
No,
look? I'll put a little
no.
like 10th floor logo right here. Now I'm wearing my John Black cap. All right.
Yep.
So my John Black baseball cap. My Drake
Mhm.
Hogeson swing for the fences cap. All right, go Yanks. All right. I'd like to say I'm a Yankees fan, but I don't know if I am. I don't know if
But
I'm any team.
I did enjoy the week of Days of Our Lives. It was a little sad,
It was.
but it was good. It was good. And we're getting, as a new viewer, I'm just getting more frame of reference from all
Absolutely.
this.
It's good to have these people because now I understand a little bit more about Julie and her family and her relationships that she's had and the struggles
Mm-hmm.
she's experienced on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a good informative week. And for
It
those who
was.
do have the emotional connection to these characters, I'm sure it was a very, very hard week to get through, at least through Wednesday, because we kind of returned to normal on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. Kinda, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love the fact that Hope was instantly suspicious, as Laura. Well, yeah, of course. Hope's been back and forth through Salem enough times for her to know, stranger, stranger danger. Okay.
Yeah, I think that, she kind of reacted the same way Jennifer did with Kat.
Oh no.
Yeah. The
Oh.
intuition was
Mm-mm.
very strong.
See, the little ball on the end of his nose is the wrong shape. All right, he's not Doug's kid. He's Doug's brother's kid. I can tell. I can tell. I don't know if Doug has a brother, but it's time to introduce. If Victor Kiriakis can pass away and we learn that the whole time his whole empire was funded because of some loan by a Constantine, we can find out that Doug had a brother.
Sure could.
He probably already has like 2 or 3 brothers. What am I saying? The man's been on the show for 50 years. Of course he's already got brothers. Hope the cop always comes out, says Amaya. She used to be chief of police, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
She used
so
to.
she will bet it.
Yeah. She also married Rafe. Rafe just cannot not be married to a cop. Is pretty much what this turns into.
Oh, so Rafe was married to Hope at one time.
Yeah. So I guess Bo had died, as he does.
Oh,
as he does.
As he does.
As
yes.
he does. And so Hope needed a new love, and found herself a Rafe.
So Rafe's had a few girlfriends over the years.
I feel like Rafe has been on the show for a lot longer than we're assuming.
I think so too.
You know, he feels like a 5-year character. I think he actually might be a 15-year character.
Yeah, I think he might have been on there for a bit.
As far as I know, though, he doesn't have any kids.
Yeah.
At least none that are characters on the show. Hey, chat, has the Rafe got any kids? And if so, who are they?
Gabby's got one.
He's got one.
We haven't seen her.
No, we haven't.
You and I have not seen her, but Gabby has one.
Did anyone else, says Jeannie, did anyone else think it was, did anyone else, asks Jeannie, did anyone else think it was weird that Chad and JJ both found out about Doug after the funeral and they only went to Canada? Jeannie, I think you're just going to have to be forgiving. Yeah, it's a little weird. Absolutely. But if you consider, all right, a couple of things. If you consider the Canadian timeline as a couple of days before the Salem timeline, because, you know, we're in different areas, different sets, different shots, different locations. Therefore, we could tell ourselves that what we're seeing in Canada is not happening simultaneously with what we're seeing in Salem.
Right.
Why
and
not?
I think that they took off like within hours of Doug dying.
Yeah, they left, and then basically Jack went upstairs shortly after to go wake up Doug. So in reality, so they land, they check in, they get into their hotel rooms, and then they get the phone call. So I think that the evidence of the show is there, folks, for us to dissect this a little bit when it comes to differing timelines, or at least things not happening simultaneously. Mm-hmm. That story's going, this story's going. They meet in the middle, but it's not quite the middle that we're watching.
Yeah, they had to, but I think they kind of had to do it this way. If they were going to send the 4 of them on this adventure, mm-hmm. They kind of had to do it this way. It would not make any sense for them to leave right when Julie needs them.
No, yeah, they would have to have found out after Doug died, because then, no, they wouldn't have gone to Canada. And then on top of that as well, when it comes to just the pacing of the show and what you're presenting to the audience day over day, and what your intention is for the 3 days of remembering Doug, mm-hmm. I don't know if the 3 days of remembering Doug to switch over on Tuesday to JJ and Gabby and all of them showing up in Canada and starting their Clyde Weston caper just to get a phone call that Doug died, for them to go, oh no. I don't know if that grooves with the rest of the week that they were doing.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I'm just forgiving. It's what I am. I'm a forgiving audience member. I get this stuff, and you say, "Hey, I got a problem with this," and my mind doesn't go, "You know what? You're right. This was a problem." My mind goes, "Let me come up with a reason why they made this decision." Mm-hmm. Because there has to be a reason. It's not just ineptitude.
And I just, you know, my thought is just very simplified. It's a soap opera.
It's a soap. Who cares? Just watch it and enjoy it. If you're asking these questions, Jeannie, you're watching with too much focus. Funny connection. Gabby has a daughter with Sammy and Lucas's gay son, who was married to Justin's son. Oh my God, Amaya. Who are all of those people? Who's Justin's other kid? Alex's brother?
I didn't know that Justin had another kid.
Is Adrian the mama?
So what is his other kid?
I don't know.
Is it Sonny?
Is it Sonny? Is he Sonny Kiriakis?
I don't know.
I don't know either, folks. I don't know nothing about the characters or aren't on the show.
Yeah.
And we've had big cast
No.
changes in
That's
just in
why it's
watching
called
the show.
Days for Dummies.
That's why, because we're folks. If you come here thinking that we have all the answers, you're wrong. You're very wrong.
But you know what? You guys come back and see us at noon, and we'll have someone on to give us all kinds of information.
He probably knows all kinds of stuff about Sunny. Sunny and Will. Oh, I know the names Sunny and Will.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Galen and Eric came on days just after Passions ended. So Galen, wow. Eric Marstoff and Galen have been on since Passion ended. So they've been on for
What?
They've been on for
I don't
20
remember
years.
exactly what year Passions went off, but it's been off for a while.
They've been off. Yeah, they've been on Days of Our Lives for that 15-year guesstimation that I made is much more accurate than I thought.
Well, I've seen an old picture of Eric Brady, and he looks way younger.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a beard, so he looks kind of, you can tell it's him, but he looks very different. So you can say, I could say, yeah, he's been on there for a while. You don't look that different in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
He looks really different.
Yeah. Adrienne is the mom. Justin has 4 kids.
Justin has 4 kids?
Mm-hmm. 16 years, confirms Jeannie. She's a big Passions fan, so she knows exactly how long it's been. Alex, Sunny, Vic, and Joey are Justin's kids. So he only has sons? Or is Joey a girl?
Isn't he Victor?
Or just Vic?
I
don't know, man. I don't know. I need to get to know Victor Kiriakis more, because as it stands right now, I don't understand why anybody would name their kid Victor.
No.
I gotta watch him soften and fall in love and start doing good things.
He might have done it out of spite.
I'm going to name my kid Victor Kiriakis so he could be the good one. So you know what it's like, Dad. So you have an example to look toward. I love it. All right, folks, it's a little bit after 10:15. We're going to take a little break doodle. We're going to hop off of this, and we're going to hop back on in 15 minutes to talk about General Hospital. We're starting a little bit early on 10th floor so we can accommodate Brian DeTillo, Lucas Horton himself, who's going to be live on this channel at noon o'clock today. Pacific time. Noon o'clock.
At a time.
So, folks, take a break. Go fill your coffee cups. Go have a everything bagel. Come on back to this channel at 10:30 for us to talk about the craziness over in Port Charles. Yeah. Hopefully, Angela will be with us, and then after
hopefully, our crew from for the 10th floor realizes that we're coming on a little early. We tried to let them know.
We sure did. I tweeted it out over on the social media, so check all that out. Follow us on those social media platforms. We got our link, or we got our names down at the bottom. 10th Floor GH. You can find us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Facebook. That's it. I'm not on the TikTok or the Reddit or Discord or anything else that you consider social media. But those 4 you can follow us, so go ahead and do that. Like the video if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel if you had a great time. Subscribe to the channel if you didn't have a great time. Subscribe to the channel if you like Days of Our Lives. Subscribe to the channel if you like how Days of Our Lives used to be.
You like the olden days?
You like the olden days? Subscribe. You like the current days? Subscribe. You like it all? Subscribe. If you don't like any of it, subscribe.
And then you get notifications for when we're going to be on.
Exactly. So you can listen to us talk about something you have no interest in. So do that. Oh, gosh. Laura, I hope that you're with us on the 10th floor. But if you're not, have a great day. All right, folks, that's it. Class dismissed. I've been Matt.
I've been Kat.
And I've been Angela with Matt and Kat.
And
say it, Ma.
Fences.
Remember to swing for the fences, folks. We'll see you in about 20 minutes. 10 minutes.
All right.
I don't know. Around 10:30. Just come back. All right. Goodbye.
I'm going to